So what do CaseyNeistat, Derek from Veritasium, and the Samurai Carpenter all have in common? They're all YouTubers. That was a pointless video. Welcome to Brainfarts. Brainfarts is just where I let you into my head just a little bit. You don't want to go all the way because I don't even want to be in there sometimes. I have things I want to talk about. I think you would like to hear them. That's what this is going to be. So that's essentially what this is. I'm just going to let you in. I'm just going to give you a little insight at what's inside this brain. Brainfarts is the best name that I could come up with. I don't know why I like it. Some of it has to do with some of the ideas that I'm spitting out here. You can't fully wrap your brain all the way around them, and a brain fart has the idea of your brain messed up. So, I don't know, they kind of relate, but we're going pretty deep. So, out of a bunch of videos that I've watched lately, I have been noticing a bit of a trend in a lot of the YouTubers that I'm following. About a month ago, CaseyNeistat came out with a video called Do What You Can't, and that title sums up the entire video. Essentially, it says if you have a dream and someone tells you that you can't because you don't have the right background, or because you don't have the right schooling, or because you don't have enough money, or you're not smart enough, or whatever the logical reasoning that they came up with, they're wrong. Do it anyway. It makes you think and connects to how so many people are limited, and they limit themselves based on this box that society says they should be in. That box is a fictional construct that is only being held together by your own thinking. Changing your perspective gets rid of the box. Now, Derek over at Veritasium, which is a science channel, well, it's more than a science channel. He talks about science things and teaches, and he's awesome, and you should go watch him. Anyways, the other day he put out a video called The Bayesian Trap. I think that's how you say it, I'm not sure. In the video, one part of it, he talks about how when before Bayes was coming up with the Bayesian theorem, I think that's what it is. He said when he was coming up with that, he considered this thought experiment. And the premise of this thought experiment was actually fairly simple. You're standing in a room, there's a table behind you, and another person. The other person throws a ball on the table. You don't know where the ball is, and he's not going to tell you where the ball is. And then he throws a second ball on the table. And then he tells you where the second ball is in relation to the first ball. So is it to the left of the ball, or above the ball, or below the ball? I guess not above and below. It's a flat table, so if it was above it, the ball would be floating. But anyways, he tells you if it's in front of the ball, or behind the ball, or left or right, wherever it landed compared to the first ball. And he continues throwing these balls on. And each time he throws a new ball on, he tells you where that ball is in comparison to the first ball. So you never really know exactly where the ball is, but every time you get a new ball, you have more information, and you're updating your idea of where that first ball is. So I would like to switch this experiment up a little bit. It's just a thought experiment, so all you gotta do is think about this. You can do this with me. It's pretty easy. So everything's the same as the other experiment with a few changes. The only changes we're making are the table isn't behind you anymore. You're in the dark, and you are the one throwing the ball. So the first ball is already on the table. So you throw the ball, and you hear left. So you throw the next ball, left. You throw the next ball, left. You keep your head down, left. Next ball, left, next ball, Left, you follow the rules. Left, next ball. Left, you do as you're told. Left, you play it safe. Left, next ball. Left, you wait your turn. Left, you ask permission. Left, you learn to compromise. Left. Are we seeing a pattern? Now that list of things that I interjected in there, they came directly out of Casey's video. The next thing he says is those things are terrible advice. And I agree. At the end of Derek's video, he relates everything he's talking to the idea of a self-fulfilling prophecy. You keep doing the same thing and getting the same result. And since you only get the same result all the time, you believe that's the only result possible, so you keep doing the same thing. So how does this connect to the Samurai Carpenter? The Samurai Carpenter is a craftsman. I would call him a master craftsman. He's kind of cocky sometimes. He might call himself a master craftsman too. But he does some epic things with wood. And he's talked about how he's gone through a change in the way he thinks. In one of his live videos titled Warning, We Are Going Spiritual, he talks about how he got to where he is. He talks about his past and how he changed his perspective. Part of what he talks about is how everyone has faith in something. That faith might be in the scientific method. That faith might be in a God. You have faith in something. Even if you're putting your faith into something like scientific evidence, you are making your choices based on that evidence. So you're putting your faith into that evidence, and your belief in that evidence affects your actions. So what you believe directly determines what you do. And then the samurai connects this to the definition of insanity, which is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And that's the same idea behind Derek's self-fulfilling prophecy. To get out of this insanity prophecy thing, something needs to change. The first thing that needs to change to get out of this cycle is your belief. You need to believe it can change. Otherwise, you won't do anything to change it. You'll just keep your head down and wait your turn. Well, if that's all you ever do, your turn may never come. You've got to get out of that self-constructed box. Once your beliefs change, your actions will follow. The only reason you can't is because you believe you can't. Now let's go back to that thought experiment. The only answer you ever got was left. Now I'm guessing when I said the table is no longer behind you, many of you immediately pictured the table in front of you. And when you threw the ball, you were picturing yourself throwing the ball forward. How would that picture change if I told you in my thought experiment, you were standing in the middle of the table, facing left, and the ball, the first ball, was directly between your feet. All you've got to do is throw it in a different direction. Back to the original question. What do all these YouTubers have in common? They all did what they couldn't. What does that have to do with me? Just tell me I can't and find out. You always hear these stories from people who are already on top. People who have made it, telling you of their rise to the top. Well, I plan on changing that. I am far from on top. I live in a trailer. Right now, I don't even have hot water. I'm working on that, but it's not here yet. I was never taught anything about video editing or filmmaking or lighting or any of that. The only cameras I have are the cell phone that I'm recording on now and this not a GoPro. August of last year was the very first time I had ever picked up a hammer and hit a piece of hot steel. I haven't welded since my high school shop class. And now I am surrounded by things that I made out of steel. Last August, I didn't have a place to work. I didn't have a work table. I didn't have a shop to work in. I had a brake drum forge that my grandfather built and a little blower that couldn't push enough air to keep a coal fire going. Less than a year later, I have a shop to work in, a forge that I designed and built with the help of a blacksmith friend. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have it. So thank you. And that forge has performed well beyond my expectations. And now I am making money playing with metal in my shop on my forge. But it's income. And I have a YouTube channel now. And I'm putting out quality content. Compared to last year, I am on top. But I'm not done. Now I'm going to flip this onto you. What beliefs are holding you back? What do you dream of doing that you were told you can't? Go do it. Redefine your world and start defining your legacy. Go ahead. Tell me I can't. I dare you.